man. Pretty much.
So yeah, if you could talk about that a bit, and I'm sure some people would get some value out of that. Also, if you want to touch on how important it is to be a leader, because Jesse here has built such a massive team. Like, he probably has one of the biggest teams of anybody in Gaz, for Christ's sake. Like, you probably do, eh? You got to be up there.
So we hit 678 today.
Yeah, that's insane. So that's a pretty serious sized team right there. So yeah, you can talk about that. Obviously, even I want to know some stuff about how you manage a team that size and kind of how you stay involved with everybody and make sure you keep people motivated and who to not give your attention to, who to give your attention to, type of thing. So let me just switch this up. So yeah, man, you can take her away. Everybody say what's up to Jesse. Can you see the chat and everything, Jesse?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, sick.
What up, guys? I'm pretty disappointed in this chat so far. Like, we got to get some fucking engagement going on.
No
doubt. So, bro, this is lame. Get it going. So excited. Thanks for having me out. That's what I want to start off by saying. Obviously, Garrett's a fucking boss in here too. Like, guys just absolutely killing it. Has been since the day that me and him pretty much both started, I think, pretty much within like a week of each other.
Pretty close. I actually reached out to Jesse right off the bat because I knew him from the town I grew up in. I was like, hey, dude, this is actually working. That was when I got started.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just going to wing this whole thing, but basically, when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. Most of you probably heard my story, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. But I found out early on that going straight to like the buy now link or the direct checkout was the way to go, because webinars, they're good, but they don't get the closing rate that, like, I guarantee everybody who's watching this could get a better closing rate than the webinar just through Messenger, just through jumping on the phone. You have to kind of figure out like where your strong strengths are and where your weaknesses come from. If you're not a person to jump on a phone call, definitely like push yourself out of the comfort zone. Just start doing it. If you're not sure what to say when you get on the phone call, that's cool. Nobody really did when they first started doing them. Like, Garrett, did you know what to say when you first got on your first phone call?
No idea, man. I just butchered it.
Exactly. We all butchered it. But the thing is, like, nobody here was born a professional at this thing. Nobody here was born with the ability to like close sales. So what you need to do is you need to push yourself out of that comfort zone. You just need to learn what to say and what not to say. That goes for Messenger and on the phone and in your ads. Like, that just goes in general. So basically, like, it's really hard to kind of like give you guys everything that I have, because I've tried to like give my team my messages and stuff like that, but really, like, you just got to feel out the conversations. There's no such thing as like a wrong answer when it comes to that, as long as you're on track and you kind of know what you're doing. But the biggest thing that I learned since doing this is like I feel like I gained a skill. I learned a skill about like I can kind of read people's emotions. I can kind of feel like what they're saying, what they're trying to say, how they're feeling, just by reading their messages to me, just the ways that they put different words together, word combinations, stuff like that. Like, and that's not something you can just like pick up just like that. You gotta like, I've had over fucking, I don't know, 12,000 conversations through Messenger now since I started this business. And it's something that like, it just kind of comes with time. I'm not saying you'll have to have 12,000 conversations before you actually like figure it out. Obviously you'll figure it out a lot before that. But the biggest thing is like really pay attention to how people put words together, and really try to really pay attention to how you put words together also when you're typing messages, because so many people can get misconstrued through Messenger. It's one of those really like tough spaces to try and close a sale, just because like we all know it. We've all been there where like somebody messages you something and you take it the totally wrong way that they were trying to say it. or maybe you've been on the other end where you said something and somebody took it the totally wrong way than you meant it. And it's all just because like you can't really feel the emotions, you can't hear their emotions through Messenger, obviously, but you can try to learn and figure out, like, you can get to a point basically where you basically like you know how they're feeling, you know what they're trying to say just through the way that they put words together and stuff like that. Yeah, through text there's no tone exactly, but there is ways, like once you kind of learn different messaging skills and stuff like that, once you really like focus and you take the time to actually like sit down and learn it, it can be a total fucking game changer. Just like I've been doing not a lot of research and not a lot of like reading on the fuck's the word, hypnotic writing, but I've done enough messaging to kind of have a good idea of how it works, and like I kind of came up with my own strategies on how I do that. You basically really want to like take where they're at right now and make them feel comfortable in as little words as possible through Messenger. It's a really hard one to like really teach, just because like you almost have to like literally see some messages and stuff like that. But as far as it goes, like my one kind of rule, let's say, is like when it comes to messaging or phone calls or whatever, I give enough information to answer their question, but I don't give more than they ask for. Does that make sense? Just drop a comment if that makes sense. Like if they ask a certain question, I'll answer their question, but I won't give them more than they ask for, because what you can do is you can actually oversell them. And I've done this. I've had tons of my team doing it. This is, in my opinion, the number one reason why people who try to close sales over the phone or Messenger, they don't close as many as they kind of hope they would or whatever, is because they're most likely overselling. So if somebody asks you a question, you go into huge detail. If they're like, well, what's the product? And you go into huge detail and you're like, fuck it. You know, it does this, it raises pH level, it does this, it's really cool. It can like potentially save people from getting cancer and this and that and the next thing and all these details. What you can do is you can actually scare them away. You can give them more than they need to think about. You can say the one thing that they go and they talk to their friend or their family member about, and that person that they trust gives them like a whole explanation detailed on why they shouldn't join this because of whatever reason. So I just really try to say as little as possible, but always answer their question, because if you don't answer their question, they're going to feel like you're hiding something from them. I give them enough information that they technically should have enough information to join the system. And then if they have questions, which most people do, and usually it's the same questions over and over, but if they have questions, then I answer their question, but I don't give any more than they ask for. So like, I'm just trying to think of an example. Is this a pyramid scheme? No, it's not. That's all you have to say. It's like, don't go into like this huge explanation on why it's not a pyramid scheme. Just be like, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. That's all you got to say, right?
Yeah, see, like, for example, because I know this is a huge one for everybody starting out, and everybody kind of has their own way of answering it and dealing with it. But if people are like, so what is it you're selling? Because that's like, you know, everybody struggles with that, and everybody has kind of a different strategy. So what's yours?
Let me find my message for that.
Okay. Do you save all your messages too in that little save response thing?
I use it for some messages. The only two I really use, or three I really use, is like an info message, and then the product, and then I have a little thing written up for like when they're like, okay, I'm ready to join. So when somebody asks me what the product is, I say our main offer is a water ionizing machine. It raises the pH level and filters chlorine and contaminants, but it is everything is 100% explained in the videos after joining. And usually after that, people are like, oh, okay. You give them enough info that you answer their question, but it's not like going into huge detail about like all this shit that it does, which obviously it does do a lot of stuff. But I just kind of explain to them that like if they want more details on it, I'm like, you know what, in order for me to go into full detail on it, I would need minimum 3 to 4 hours of your time, which obviously both of us probably don't want to get. Like, I definitely don't want to give each person that asked me this question 3 to 4 hours of my time. So what we did is we made some videos that are going to explain everything once you get into the process, and it comes with a lot of visuals that really help you kind of understand what it is that we're doing and how it works and all this stuff. So that's kind of the route I go as far as products. It only if they ask, though. I don't give that away unless they ask. But like I said, I don't hide any questions. I'm not going to be like, no, I can't tell you what the product is, because then they're going to be like, well, fuck this then. This is too fishy.
Yeah, I tried doing that before, and like, because at one point people were like, "Oh, just say there's like there's this non-disclosure, and I'm not, I'm not at liberty to discuss that shit." That never fucking worked ever.
No, it didn't. I went through that phase too,
yeah,
and it just never worked. And
that's
what
the thing. Like, obviously, like, you guys got to all have to test. It's kind of a trial and error process with a lot of stuff too, and it depends on the person. But like, even this is this is my saved message for the same thing, which is similar. What I like how Jesse adds that there's videos available to touch on it too, because that's huge. So you don't, then they're like, okay, I'm going to learn about it. Like mine just says right now we're promoting a water ionizer. It just takes your acidic tap water and turns it into alkalized water. I'm not sure if you've heard of the health benefits of alkalized water, but it just started to blow up with the whole health and wellness industry booming. That's it. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I would definitely add on to it that it's covered in the videos.
Yeah, I would just throw that it's like it goes into detail in the videos, and then that just kind of eases their mind to be like, oh, okay, so I will learn more about it.
Yeah.
And then if they, like I said, if they decide they want more info on it from you right now, it's like, dude, I don't have 3 hours of my time to waste on this. So what we did is we made a bunch of videos. They're going to explain it. They're going to give you some visuals. You're going to have 100% understanding of it before you decide to proceed with us after taking that first step. Basically is like how I word it. But I don't have anything typed up for that. It's just like a lot of, and I think that's one reason why I've had such a good closing rate through messengers, because I've never really used a lot of automation as far as like copy and paste. Like obviously I have an info message which is copy and pasted, and then that one, and then just when they're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, then I have a little thing I send them. It's like, okay, here's the link to sign up. And then it's got the link in there, and then it says just go ahead and sign up, book a coaching call, watch the videos, and I'll be here every step of the way to help you. That's all it says. But other than that, like every single conversation that I have is directly like I'm sitting there messaging, or my wife's sitting there, or somebody is sitting there messaging in person. I've tried out like ManyChat and shit. I didn't like it. My results just dropped like through the floor because I don't know. I'm sure there's ways that you could set it up to do better, but I had a pretty sick sequence set up, and it still just didn't work for me. I just didn't like it. A lot of people actually commented back to me, and they're like, dude, this is just so fake. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I know, this is brutal. I don't even like it, man. And then I would just carry on a conversation with them anyways. So I was like, you know what, fuck that. I'm just going to do it old school because it works. And I had one more thing I was going to say on that. Fuck. Maybe it'll come back to me. I don't know. Yeah, so does anyone have any questions as far as like messaging or phone calls or anything? I'm not really like a super strong phone call closer. I used to close the shit out of coaching calls back in the day, but I was never really one to get on a 99 phone call just because, I don't know. I just
Messenger is your bitch.
My forte. That's like when you find what works for you, you just stick to it. Like some people are killers on the phone, and that's why like as soon as somebody messages you, just be like, hey, you want to jump on a phone call? And then if you're strong on the phone, then do that. If you're strong in Messenger, then like I'm not saying that I wouldn't jump on a phone call, but I don't know. I like Messenger personally.
Yeah. So this just shows you there's so many different ways you can do this. Like say Jesse closes everybody on Messenger, Brian closes everybody on the phone. People like Kayla Delargy won't even jump on the phone or fucking get people to buy through the link. She sends everybody to the webinar. That's it. And that's how she's had all her success. So there's not one right way to do it. You just, like Jesse said, you got to figure out what works best for you and then just focus on that, focus your energy towards that and building that skill.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many ways to do it. And that's why, like, everyone has to kind of find their own way, find out what you're strong in and what you like doing, and just kind of roll with that. A lot of people, like, obviously it's good to know all the different options that there is. Definitely, like, try them all out. And even if you're not a strong phone closer, I still recommend going through the struggle of, like, figuring it out, because not only is it going to build your, like, sales skills, it's going to build your just, like, your presence as a person. You're going to be able to have much better conversations in like, just in person in general. It's just going to build you up as a person a lot more, and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to do that. Like, fuck, I totally failed. I don't know, 15 to 20 calls, my first 15 to 20. But I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as 15 or 20 ways of not doing something. And each time I would get off the phone and be like, fuck, I completely just, like, totally dropped the ball on that. And then I would sit down, I would think about the call, think about where I feel I went wrong, and think of ways to improve that on the next one, right? And then it got to a point where, like, I could close a lot of people on the phone, but I like doing it through Messenger, so that's what I try to do. But yeah.
Questions in the Q&A there.
Oh, I see one in the chat. What do you do when people say I'm in, but then don't respond when you shoot them a message? All you can really do is just, like, keep on top of them. I know, like, Brian always says don't do any follow-ups or anything, but, like, if I didn't do follow-ups, I wouldn't be nearly where I am right now. I definitely do follow-ups. I kind of have, like, a 3 follow-up rule. This is just at any point, whether they've said they're in, whether they've never responded to my info message, no matter where they are in the conversation, it's like this follow-up rule kind of works for any situation. So, like, each one's a day apart. And so, like, the first day, one day after they don't answer me back, I used to do this. I don't really do this anymore just because I don't have time and I don't like going through my messages. But this is what I used to do, and it used to work really good, is the day after they don't respond, I message them and I'm like, hey, I know people get busy. That's cool, but just wondering, like, maybe you got busy. You read my message. Maybe you got busy and you just couldn't proceed at the time and you forgot about it. Whatever. That's cool. I get it. Let me know if you're still interested. Then the second day after that, if they still don't respond, and I just have to say, don't use my exact words here. Figure out how to, like, word it in a more proper way, because I actually had a guy when I was teaching this to him. He used my exact words, and he got called back like a fucking douchebag by multiple people. So take this with a grain of salt. Figure out how to word it in your own way, but get this kind of point across. So second day after that, so first day is like, I know you might have got busy. That's cool. Let me know if you're still in. Second day is like, hey, man, I don't have all the time in the world. Just wondering if you're still interested in this. If so, shoot me a message. Third one is more like, okay, I'm done with you. I don't have any more time to waste on you. I'm just letting you know that I'm taking you off my follow-up list. If that one doesn't get their attention, then there's, like, zero chance that they're even going to do anything with it. So after that, just, like, cut them loose. Don't even follow up anymore. Don't bother. But like I said, don't use my exact words, because what can happen is you can get a lot of people come back at you really angry. And you obviously don't want that. So how long do you wait to follow up with people after you send information? That's pretty much what I just covered. Can you repeat how Kayla closes all her sales? She sends everybody to the webinar.
Yeah, everybody. She told me 100%. Yeah, she's like, I don't believe in any of that, any closing on calls or sending them the link and not, or the buy link and not having them go through the webinar. She's like, that's why it's there. And I mean, obviously it's worked for her, but at the same time, the amount of money she spent on ads compared to people like Jesse or even myself is much, much higher if you're going to do that.
I remember when I crossed like the $300,000 mark in GAZ, or not G, in Agit commissions, I was at like a fucking $12,000 ad spend total.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. I think Caleb spent like 90 or something.
Yeah, it was like something stupid, like, yeah.
To hit like 200. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. So that's the difference. Like Julian always says, like, you guys can put in the money and focus and just rely on the webinar, and you're going to spend a lot more money for leads and buyers, or you can put in the time and, spend a lot less money on ads, and you can, put that time in and send them to the direct buy link, things like that, close them over Messenger or the phone. So it's totally up to you. But
yeah, it's totally up to you. Like, if you don't have a lot of money to put into this, then you're stuck with having to put time into it, which is where like, I know I started. I didn't have a ton of money to put into this, so I put every spare minute I had into it. And now that even I got to a point where I have a little bit more money to play with, I've tried the conversions thing. For me personally, I'm not a stats person. I don't like sitting at my computer like checking out stats in my ads manager. I don't like that shit. So I stick to what I know. I put my toes into conversions. I've tried that. It just didn't work for me because I don't have the patience for that. And and then I looked at the numbers about like how Kayla and Sean and Melissa and all those guys, which I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. It's just that, like Garrett said, they're spending way more money than we are to make the same or less than we are. So for me, it's like, I'll put time in. I don't care. I got lots of time. I got nothing to do really. Like, my kids are young. I don't really have anywhere to be. It's not like I can just up and leave at any given time. So that's where I'm at personally. You just like anything else, you need to figure out where you're at in your life and figure out like what route you want to go personally. Alicia asked, do you ask them a lot of questions like at the end of every message to keep the conversation going? The question I most often ask at the end of pretty much every message, if they still sound interested, is, are you ready to get this ball rolling? That's my kind of go-to question. Are you ready to get this ball rolling? And they'll just, it's just like one little kind of like push, like, come on, like, you're wasting time. Let's do this. Another saying I use all the time is something like, fuck, lost it again. There's no time like the present. So like, the more time you waste, the more time you waste, the more time you're going to have to spend at the job you just told me you hate. It's like, let's just get this going.
Yeah.
Like, now that you know about it, you're going to drive yourself nuts every time you have to get into your vehicle to go to work. So like, let's get you started. That's another kind of term I use a lot too. Do you use voice messenger or just all typing? I find it really exhausting always writing. I do. I would say 90% is typing. Just because I like to kind of strategically message people. And when you're using your voice, and this is kind of why I don't like phone calls as much either, is because once it's said, there's no going back. There's no like fixing it. There's no adjusting it. Once you say it, it's said. So like, what I like to do as I'm messaging people, this is what I was going to say earlier, actually. It came back to me. Always think about how you would respond if you were in their shoes. So like, if you were the brand new person, put yourself back in their position where they know nothing about this business. They know nothing about anything. Just pretend like they're total idiots and they know nothing. And every time you're typing out a message, and this is something you can implement into like just speaking to people in general too, is think about how they're going to feel reading your message or hearing what you say. And this is why I like doing it typing, because I can read it I type it, I read it, I think about like, is there any variation of words I can put together to make it sound better, and or is there something I can take out or switch or whatever? And I really put a lot of thought into like, okay, what are they going to be feeling as they're reading this? Does that make sense to everybody? Because if it doesn't make sense to you, it's not going to make sense to them because they know nothing about this. So if it doesn't even make sense to you, then it's definitely not going to make sense to them, and they're just going to be like, like, what the hell is this person talking about? So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. For us new people, and when they ask us if we make money or I'm living ourselves and I'm living our lives like the videos they always see, what would you say for those? I always tell the truth. I've never lied. I've never like stretched the truth. I've never done anything. People are going to be more respectful to you if you came out. If they said, how much money have you made? People are going to be more respectful to you if you just come out and tell them like, dude, I started this last week. I haven't made anything, but I can see a huge potential here. And then talk up the community, talk up like your coaches, you can go into like Garrett's experiences and stories and stuff like that. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. So like, just tell them the truth. I built this entire thing on total honesty and truth. Like I've never told anybody that I've made more money than I ever have. I've never told anyone anything like that. Just talk up the experience, talk up the training, talk up like how easy it was to go through the process and learn everything. Talk about how like every time you have a question, there's so many resources that you can find the answer to it like pretty much immediately. That kind of stuff. Just really talk up like the system and the mentorship and the training. And if they say, how much money have you made? Don't lie, because lying is going to get you into a fucking mess that you don't want to be. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Because then if they do join and they do come in and then they find out from somebody else that you're brand new and you didn't make a dime yet, they're gonna immediately lose trust in you because right off the bat you lied to them, right? And you don't want your team to not trust you, and that's kind of something we can talk about when we go into like leadership stuff.
You guys, could you keep the questions into the Q&A, please? So we just keep them in one spot.
Okay. What do you say when people ask, what exactly is it that I'll be doing? This one, I just usually say something like, you're going to be going through a lot of training. There's continuous training that you want to be watching, placing advertisements on social media platforms to try and gain attention from people who potentially want to buy the products that you're offering. Something like that. Do you try and gauge if they have the minimum funds, aka their investment level, in your messages, or is that something you let the webinar answer? Most people who join me don't even know there is a webinar. They don't even know that option exists. I don't. It's none of my business what their financial situation is. If they have the $99, I just go one step at a time. It's like, if you have $99, okay, cool. That's all you need to get started. So then they have their $99 payment, they pay that, boom. And then they get into the coaching process, and then that's where the next step comes in, and it's like, obviously, we're going to need like an income and maybe some good credit and stuff like that to get through this step. But as far as like messages and stuff, I don't get into that, because what it kind of does, and this goes back to like their perspective, right? If you're trying to dig into like how much money they have or what their credit's like or whatever, they're going to be like, why the fuck does this person need to know that? And it's going to like intimidate them. It's going to scare them away. It's going to shy them away. And they're just not going to be as comfortable. So like, I don't even touch on that. I don't even go into that. I just take it one step at a time. Like if I'm selling the 99, as long as you got $99, let's do this thing if you want. And I don't push anybody to do anything. If somebody tells me I don't have $99, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Hit me up when you have it. Hit me up when you're ready to go. And then I leave it at that. As far as that goes, like, I'm not really going to chase them, because obviously if they told me they don't have $99 right now, the chances of them going any further are slim, but at the same point, it's none of our business to be judging people on whether they can or cannot make this happen for themselves. Because I've been surprised multiple times now. I used to judge people, like if they told me they didn't have 99 bucks, I would like, and this was a phase, like this was a trial and error thing that I went through. I'm sure Garrett probably went through something similar, where it's like if they tell you they don't have 99 bucks, you automatically write them off in your head, and you're like, okay, there's no way that this person's doing it. But then they come back to you like a week later, and they're like, okay, I got the 99 bucks, let's do this. And then they come in, they do it, they go through the next steps, and it's like maybe their credit's not as good as you kind of hoped, but like there's always a way to make it happen. It's just how driven and how determined is that individual to make it happen. Like we can get people hooked up with Ukon financing for like $300 down. Like it's really minimal, and anybody with enough drive or common sense can find a way to get $300 within a day. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter who you are. Anybody can find a way to get $300 in a day. So as far as like trying to kind of gauge their financial situation, it's none of my business really, so I don't really care. And I've even told people, like, if they said like life's really tough, I don't have 99 bucks, blah, blah, blah. Back in the day, I've told people, okay, well, it's going to take more money than that to get started, so you might as well not even get started, just because that's like the honest kind of guy I always am. But I also found out like it's also none of my business to write them off, because you never know. This could be the thing that changes their life. You never know, right? They could come in, they could find a way to get that $300 and get going, and you never know. They might absolutely crush it. So taking that away from them before they even start, that also is none of my business. So I just really, I don't know. If somebody wants to do it, then I'm there for them the whole way. And if they don't want to do it, then that's fine. I cut my losses with them. I don't follow up with them anymore, and that's it.
I'll touch on that for a sec too. Like I know lots of people do, and this is even kind of where I got it from Brian, is things like pre-screening people. I guess when you get to the point and there's so many people that you need to kind of do a pre-screening if you don't have time. So like Brian, I know has said too, like if they don't have the money, then he doesn't really waste the time with them. But so yeah, there's two different angles there. Like Jesse, obviously, I really like what he said about it's none of his business, and it's really not his place to kind of determine if someone's going to be able to make this happen or not. But yeah, like I know what there is a tool or a trick, I guess, to ask them or get a gauge of how much they make without actually directly asking how much they make, and you can just say, "What is your annual income goal?" Something like that. And then they can tell you that, be like, oh, well, fuck, $200,000 would be sick, $200,000 a year. And then you can say like, okay, awesome, man. Well, how far away from that goal are you currently? And then if they say, well, I'm about $100,000 away, then you guys can do the simple math and get an idea, right? But yeah, like I like what Jesse says, man. I'm gonna take that and use it, because I definitely do trying to pre-screen people and see if I can get an idea what they make before I waste too much time with them. But obviously, it's worked for Jesse to give everybody a chance, pretty much. So.
Yeah, 100%. And I've done that kind of screening way also. Like I've fucking tried pretty much every single angle that you can take. I think every now and then I think of a new one that I've never tried before, and I try it just because like this whole business is a split test. A lot of people think that split testing ends at just ads. It's like, no, this entire business is a split test. You have to test and figure out and kind of get the stats on what's working and what's not, and then just kind of work off of that to try and find a better way and continually be learning and trying different things. And like we said earlier, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to find a different way from anybody else. If you're just completely trying to 100% mimic what one person is doing, you're not going to succeed as much as if you like take small risks and try different things. And like I've probably thrown away so many good leads just through split testing different methods of messaging and shit, that it's like it would probably sicken me to know how much money I could have made if I would have just like not tried some stupid message on random people. But at the end of the day, like, you don't know until you try, right? So I try as soon as I get an idea, I try it on the next like 5 or 6 leads just to see how it goes. Um, and yeah, and that's just everything that I'm talking about is just stuff that like I find works for me. I know like Garrett obviously is going to have a bunch of different stuff that he might do that works for him. Other people who are watching probably have many variations of things that work for them. This is just 100% what works for me. Uh, I do like that way of screening people though, and finding out like what their income is. I have used it a lot. It works really well.
Yeah, honestly, I think my like ratio of $99 buyers to people that actually buy like trifectas and stuff is really high, and I think that's a reason why. But I mean, then again, like there could have been a lot more if I would have not done that, right? So
Yeah, the only thing that kind of worries me about it is like if they're kind of thinking about like in the moment, they're probably just like answering the question. But then if they go home and they start thinking about it, or they're reading the conversation off to a friend, then their friend might be like, "This guy was just asking you how much money you make."
yeah, yeah,
And it's just like one of those things. And that's what I was saying earlier about like answer their questions, but don't give more than they ask for. Don't oversell it because you never know what one of their friends or family members gonna pick out of it and completely use it against us.
hmm
From what you like, and to be honest, it's not usually the person you're talking to that's going to catch on to this stuff. You know that they're going to talk. Like, think about when you went through the process. Did you talk to other people about it? 9 times out of 10, nine people out of 10 have talked to their friends. They've talked to their family. They've run it past them, see what their opinions are on it, and you know that they've talked to them and given them the information that you gave to that person, and it's just going to be picked apart.
yeah.
So you, that's why I try to limit like the amount of info I give to people, just so there's less to pick apart, basically. Because everybody's a skeptic. I was skeptical as all fucking hell coming into this.
Me too.
Um, will you sign someone up with just a Ukon? Been told it's not worth it. Yeah, I'll definitely do it because not only is it another sale, but it's another team member that could go on to do big and great things. I'm not going to lie, 9 times out of 10, people who come in with just an Ukon are probably not the top notch people that you want on your team, but I've been surprised before. And I like one of my top producing guys, well, maybe not one of my top producing, but one of the guys who's doing pretty good on my team started with just an Ukon, and I've made quite a bit of money off of him. He's made a lot of money off of himself, and he started with an Ukon. So like I said before, it's none of my business to write them off just because all they can afford is an Ukon, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna touch on that quick too. Is exactly with the Yukon, like there is definitely those people. Your front end sale isn't what's going to make you the most money. Someone comes in and you make that front end sale, that's a good chunk of money up front. But the people that are going to pull through, commit, and start crushing out a whole bunch of sales, that's what's going to really make you money, right? If they make 10 trifecta sales, that's just 10 trifecta sales that you didn't have to make yourself, and you're going to make money on that all day. And even I think my top producer, Travis Matheson, came in with Ukon, and he just had like a $15,000 day. He messaged me today. So that just goes to show you. And he's 6A. He's like well on his way to 6A too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely if people take the Ukon, then, and that's their only option, like obviously you want to find out what's going to work best for them and their budget and everything. And it could end up being a top producer on your team. You never know.
You never know. Um, if somebody's like a good telltale sign for if they're going to be like a dead end or not is if they decide that they don't even want to try for the trifecta, they just want to go straight to a Ukon, and they don't like, even if they could get a trifecta, they just decide, no, I just want to go with an Ukon. That's a pretty good telltale sign that they're probably not going to do anything with this business because they're already coming in at the bottom. They're already expecting to do the minimum. But even at that, like I'll never deny someone the chance to prove me wrong, right? So we got, do you use ManyChat? If so, what's your experience with it? We already kind of touched on that kind of close to the beginning, but I'll touch on it again because the next question asks that same thing. I tried it. I built a sick ass sequence. It was really fucking deadly. So I thought everybody I showed it to thought it was deadly, but then it just didn't work out the way I kind of thought it would. It was too automated. I even had people message me back, that like leads message me back and be like, dude, this is too fake. I don't like it. And then they dropped off just because of it. So I used it. I tried it. Not to say I'm done with it because I'm still paying for it. But I definitely, if I decide to use it again, I'm going to definitely like be putting a lot of time into building like a good sequence and running it that way. Do you use ManyChat, Garrett?
I started, but I found that like all the ads I had running, I think it's a lot better to mention something in your ad copy so they know that they kind of know what to expect. Say something like, I don't have time to answer everybody directly right away, so you're going to have to go through a bit of a screening process, or you're going to have to answer some questions before you talk to me directly. So then they're not like, fuck, this is obviously a bot. They kind of know, and they're not, and they're expecting it, and they don't think it's shady. So I need to actually develop some ad copy that's going to work directly with the ManyChat sequence. I think that'll definitely bring it up, because when I did use it, it fucking sucked.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think if you're gonna do it, you got to do it like 100% right. Like right from the ad right through like a wicked sequence.
Totally, it's got to be the whole thing, man.
Yeah, like I was just, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just half-assing it. Well, I put some time into my sequence, but I didn't like redo the ads or anything like that. I think you're totally right there. How fast do you respond to people? Whenever I can. It's like, if I'm available right now, then I'll answer them right now. If I'm not, then I don't. I don't really have a time that I wait or anything like that. I just do it whenever I can. Is there a way to send messages to multiple people at once through our fan page? I don't want to send automatic messages, but I just want to message multiple people at once instead of copying and pasting everything. That's something you can do through ManyChat. And when I said I don't use ManyChat, I kind of lied. I do use ManyChat for like follow-ups and stuff, just to do like mass follow-ups. But this is something I just started testing, like literally 2 or 3 days ago. So I don't really know I don't know the technological side about it all. I don't even want to try to like go into it because I don't have all the answers on it. Do you apologize if you take a while to respond to them or tell them what the delay was because of? No, I don't have anything to apologize for. I get to them when I get to them. That's just the way it is. People get back to me when they get back to me, and they don't apologize to me. So apologizing to them for taking a while to respond to me is just like, you're just showing weakness. You know what I mean? Like, you're just coming straight out and being like, yeah, I'm weak. I'm really sorry that I couldn't get back to you. It's like just like it's none of your business to pre-screen them what their income is and shit. It's none of their business what you're up to in that very moment. And that's just the way it is, in my opinion.
Stop that.
You're muted.
Oh, but I'm too nice. I'm gonna stop that.
I don't know if it works for you. It works, but
no. But I'm feeling bad if I don't get to people and like stressing about getting back to them if we can't. So.
Well, like if it's like 3 weeks that you're delayed, then maybe say sorry. But
I mean, like 4 hours, 3 hours, yeah. 4 hours.
Even if it's 4 hours, even if it's like 2 days, I don't apologize. I just carry on conversation just like it was before.
Sometimes I'll have messages that somehow are like someone commented on a super old post or something, and then I realize it like a month later. I'm just like, hey man, what's going on? What's going? They're like, fuck, that was a month ago, dude.
That's about the only time I'd apologize. Just because it's like, sorry, I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks. I totally missed it, but I'm here now. Let's do this.
Great.
Yeah, and whoever asked about the mass messaging, so you don't have to copy and paste all the time. Like if you don't have the Pages app, if anybody in here doesn't have the Pages app, you should get the Pages app because it's fucking awesome. It's way easier. Keep your personal shit separate. You just go on. It's direct your messages, your notifications on your fan page. But I don't know if you guys can see this. You probably can't. I'll have to send a fucking. Oh, you can. See, like this little button right here. That's the button, right? Yeah. See this button right here? So you can fucking save a reply. Let's say you hit this. And then it says save reply. And then it goes into this little spot here. And you can just fucking hit send. And you don't have to copy and paste shit all the time. You have messages that are stored in your Pages app, in your Messenger.
It's super sick. I fucking wish I knew about that, but like way back in the day.
Dude, Aaron showed me it at his event. I was like, you fucking kidding me, man? How did I not know about that this whole time?
I learned about that probably, I don't know, a year ago.
Yeah, this was like a month.
It was like a game changer because I used to have all my saved replies in like, I used to text them back to myself, and I would go back into like that or notes. And just like copy and paste it, and you gotta scroll and be like, hey, which one is it? And then you're always going back and forth between apps and shit.
Yeah. Or you'd get like, I wouldn't have it anywhere except in an old conversation that I had with some dude. So I'm like fucking scrolling through my conversations like, oh, is that the guy? Scroll through that conversation then and fucking find it. So yeah, that's definitely huge. And I just learned about it too like a month ago, man. I couldn't believe it.
Come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
definitely
that's a life changer in itself right there.
No doubt.
Just remember to change people's names if you're using a message with people's first names because you look like a douche. Yeah, I've done that countless times.
Yeah, me too. It's even worse when it's a girl and you fucking call her Bob or something.
Or Garrett would call them like man, like hey man or hey dude. They'd be like instantly.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
I'd be okay with it. Like, hey, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of girls just don't like. They're not as cool about it though.
No one's as cool as me. I get it.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys have any more questions for Jesse or myself or? Yeah. It is. I probably called you Alan a couple times.
I probably would have done that too. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry. So yeah, you guys have any questions here? Did you guys get some good value from Jesse here?
Yeah.
This guy is one of the biggest leaders in the entire community. He's fucking made more money than almost anybody. So just a fucking oil-filled dude from Alberta representing.
For anyone who doesn't know, Garrett and I came from the same town.
Yeah. Old Hinton, Alberta.
I always joke because we got a stinky ass pulp mill in town. I always joke with Garrett about how like if it wasn't for that fucking pulp, we probably wouldn't have made it so far, bro.
No doubt.
Willow Creek, yeah, that's for sure.
Spent a lot of time up there. All right, well, yeah, this is I did record it, so if you guys have any quick last questions, you better get them in. I don't want to keep Jesse too much longer. It's already past 8, so just waiting on everybody to get started to get a fucking Balages thing. What's better? What was better, this or Balages go live?
I'm kind of curious to see too. What was Balaj talking about?
I don't know. Same old stuff, door to door. Just kidding. I probably shouldn't say anything. Balaj is fucking awesome. I'm just joking. But I always joke about it because this is going to be recorded and posted on our page.
People be going to Balaj, dude. Garrett was slaying you on his fucking.
All right, sweet. What did you guys get out of this? We're gonna reconvene, and I'll ask. I want everybody to tell me. I'm gonna ask probably next webinar. Kind of keep this going, bringing out some guests. I'll definitely pay you back there, Jesse. I'll come on yours, like I said, next Sunday. Thanks a lot, dude. I really appreciate it. Super impressed by you, man. Continually, all the shit you've been doing and continue to fucking do. It's insane. Gives me somebody to kind of try and keep up with, anyway. But yeah, man. What he
I
said.
love the friendly competitions.
Yeah, I got a long way to go, man. I need to beat that record, your monthly record here. That's my goal here. So
I'm gonna set a new one here soon. Don't worry.
yeah, you better step it up, man. I'm coming for you.
I fucking flatlined for way too long, man. It's time to kick it up a notch again.
So did I, dude. Honestly, after this Europe trip we just went on, I came back. I was like, fuck, what am I doing? Just coasting, man. I'm not ready to coast yet. I haven't made it there yet. I can't coast.
Yeah.
So, time to
everybody watch out, because there's some big shit gonna be coming up the pipeline soon.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Jesse, again. Hope you guys got some good shit out of this. I got value out of Jesse too, so it's been a win-win situation.
Right on, guys. Appreciate you having me out.
All right, brother. We'll chat. We'll see you on
Come on again one of these days.
Yeah, for sure, bud. We'll see you on the Thursday chat.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye. See everybody else as well.
Yeah, see you, everyone. Do I need to end the meeting because you made me the host or whatever?
I think I figured it out.